Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. Now we are going to learn out a new topic into the PyTest, and that's the parameterizing test. Parameterizing of a test. Okay, what's that? We are going to see up right here in this particular video. So let me once very quickly put up the topic. So it's Meterizing, parameterizing of a test. Fine, so that's parameterizing of a test. Now, what we will be learning here into this, I will be writing up the definition for that what it actually is, and it's very simple. Okay, neither in front of this parameterizing, the fixtures and the markers were a little complicated, but it's not like that. Let me show you how. So here I'm going to write up the definition. So I'll be writing that parametrizing, Meterizing. Okay, parametrizing of a test. Parametrizing of a test is done to parametrizing of a test is done to run the test is done to run the test against is done to run the test against multiple sets of inputs. First of all, in parameterizing, what do you do? Sorry for that. Okay, let's say I did have up a function. I did make up my test function. One test function I did make up, right? Now I want to run out that respective test function for many use cases. Let's say what we were doing, we were making up different functions, and in that different functions, either we have to multiply that with a different number or we have to subtract that with a different number. We need to make up different test functions, right? This was what we were doing up till now. But now with the help of this parameterizing of a test, what you could do, you could make up a tuple. Okay, and inside that tuple you could give up your relevant input values, whatever are actually required. Whatever you want to give, you could give up that respective relevant values, right? And you could simply make up one test case, and you could run that respective one test case for all of those use cases for what you want to run about. Now that's pretty simple, as we were doing from previous things, right? In the previous, we were having many functions to be made up and all those things. Let's say I want to subtract out two different values. For, let's say I have 6 pairs, and in that 6 pairs I only have the value subtraction. But for that as well, I need to make up 6 different test cases. I need to made up 6 different use cases, then test functions, and then I need to separately run all of those. So that was a tedious work, right? But in parameterizing, you make up a tuple, you give up all those respective values, whatever you want to give the subtraction, you give it a pair or whatever you wish out, and simply make up one test function, write your assert command, and it will do out the relevant thing for you. It means that it will run up the test case for all of those use cases given by you for the subtraction. Okay, so I guess that you are very much clear with that. And yes, this is a thing which will save your time while writing up the test. And test, if you just want to run out that respective test for multiple things, for multiple values, for multiple inputs. So parameterizing of the test is the one which is going to save up your time in that respective case, right? Moving forward, how do we initialize that out? It means that how do we use this out? So we use that out with the help of a marker. Okay, first of all we make up the marker, and after that we make up the parameterize. Actually, remember that when I told you about the markers, there I told you that there are some inbuilt markers as well. In the definition only, when I was dealing with the theoretical part in the markers, I told you that for the inbuilt marker, there is one marker which is named as parameterize. If you watched out that respective video, so yeah, you must be very well aware of that. I told you there. So yes, that same inbuilt marker we are going to use out today, and that's the parameterize. Fine. So now it's an inbuilt marker, so obviously it's the case that first of all I'll be using the marker, I'll be making up the marker. After that I'll be using the parameterize function. So how do we do that out? Simply put at the rate. Importing of the PyTest and all the things are common, so I'm not going to repeat that again and again. So here goes at the rate. First of all, you need to declare the PyTest because marker and parameter both of those comes under the PyTest. So in that case, it's necessary for you to put up this PyTest here. PyTest, and it's the, here goes the dot. Here I made up my marker dot, and here I use up my function, that's parametrize. Okay, PyTest dot mark dot parametrize. Fine. So now into that respective case, this is how I made this up. Like you can make up the parametrizing of a test by simply using the markers. So yeah, I did so. I used up the marker, and yes, my parametrize function actually works very fine here. Fine. So this is how you make up the parametrize. Right, so hope I'm clear with that. First of all, that how do you make up your function as a parameterized function? Now let me quickly give you a example here for the use of this particular thing. So let's say I have some pairs. I have the pair of 10 comma 5. Okay, then okay, all of them will be defined inside a tuple. Now here will be using a tuple inside a tuple. Okay, so it's 10 comma 5, and then next let's say I am having 20 comma 10. Thirdly, I'm having 30 comma 20. Let's say these values I'm having. Okay, I'm having up these respective values. Now what is required up here is that I want to write up the test case. I want to write up the function for all of these three use cases which I did wrote up here. Right? I need to write that out. Into that respective case, what I am going to do is that I would simply make up a, first of all, I'll be making up a parameterize. Okay, wherever you will be declaring up these, you will be declaring that inside a parameterize function. So you write here at the rate PyTest dot mark dot parameterize and now into the bracket you put up all of these respective values whatever are mentioned up at this particular place. Put up all of those three right here. Okay, now after that make your test function. Let's say it's test underscore 1. Put up the bracket. Now 1 second, inside this bracket now there is one thing that has to be put up by you, that is the two parameters. Okay, the first one will be the n and the second one will be o. Okay, now that depends on to your choice whatever you want to put up. N means the number and o is your output. So number is 10 and it's somewhat of output is 5. Right, now how do I do that out? I could simply use up assert. Okay, and I could write up my num is 10. So I could write up here n minus 5 is equal to o. So now for this, if I take up this test case which is 10 comma 5. So for this, what's the value of n? N value is 10, right? Minus 5. So what's the value of my output? That's 5. So that's similar. It is completely similar to the value which I did put up here into my tuple which I did made out. Right, so now every time I do not need to write up a different cases. Right, is this time it's gonna be 20 minus 5 and that's equal to, in real it's equal to 15, but output I have given as 10. So it will show me that this 20 comma 10 is your failed case. Same thing goes for 30 comma 20. When I put the value for n as 30, so 30 minus 5 is 25. But what's my output value which I had given in a tuple? So it's 20. So in that case, it's again going to show me that your test case has failed. So in total, I'll be having one passed test case and two failed test cases. Okay. So hope I am clear with that what I meant from the parameterize function. So now let's say you have different pairs and you have to subtract out those different pairs. So you could simply use that out like this. Now you do not need to make out three different test functions. Making a one test function and writing out the tuple is only going to work out in this particular case. Okay. Hope I'm very much clear with that. Further, in the next video, we will be seeing the complete practical implementation of the parameterized function. That how we can do the practical implementation of the parameterize. Now, practically, it's a little different, as I told up right here. I just simply told of the logic here. Okay, the format of writing is a slight different in the practical. Okay, so let's see that into the next video. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.